And hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We appreciate you guys joining us live on Amazon.com, or for those tuning in on the replay on Amazon.com. We're glad you all could be with us. Also, we want to welcome our friends joining us on Facebook, on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Glad you all could join us. Among other things, May is recognized as High Blood Pressure Awareness Month. And as you guys know, we've had a series of conversations here on Amazon Live about the topic of knowing your numbers and the benefits when it comes to your overall health. Today's topic is no different. We're excited to welcome a great panel that's joining us today to talk to us not only about the importance of knowing your numbers, but also an overall healthy lifestyle as well. Just a couple of housekeeping notes I want to say for you guys joining us on the Amazon Live side. If you guys are new to us here, welcome to Amazon.com show here at Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm here 7 days a week on Amazon.com, sharing a variety of different topics for you guys. If you guys would like to stay connected with us, you'll notice there's a follow button either in this corner or down below, depending on what device you may be joining us on, whether it's your desktop, laptop, or your phone. Also, you will notice there's a carousel down below. And in the carousel, you'll notice, for one, the main product we're talking about today is Phenoxyl Plus. You'll notice it's highlighted right now in the featured section. But also, when we bring in our guests, you'll notice they also have products that are featured in the carousel as well. I want to invite you guys to click on those products. You can be able to find out more information about them as we're having our conversation. It will not take you away from us, so you can stay with us as well. And at the end of the segment, we will be letting you guys know how to stay connected with us as well. We're excited to welcome back Dr. Bernard Fragamini to our program today. You guys see him down there in the lower right. Also, we have joining us for the first time, Lisa Charles, as well as Erez Gavish is joining us as well. We're going to talk to the three of them, not only about the importance of heart health, but also their own journey and being able to help other people to live their best lives. Thanks to the three of you for being on with us. Really appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
Dr. Fragamini, I'm going to start with you because you are kind of the elder statesman of the group when it comes to being.
I get that from time to time. Thank you.
Yeah, on Amazon Live. I want to talk about for you. I mean, what has this experience been like for you to be able to help people to not only to take control of their health, but also to give them the tools necessary to help them live a healthy lifestyle?
It's extremely rewarding for me, Cyrus. You know, I don't remember with a couple other times that I've been on a show talking about this, but you know, my dad passed away from a massive coronary, which I was trying to resuscitate him from at the age of 56. I'm now going to be 58 in another little bit here. So I've made it past that. Anybody who's had a parent die of an ischemic event like that knows that it seems to be a weird mile marker that you get in your head that you want to make it at least past dad or mom or an aunt or an uncle or somebody else in your family. So you know, but that's not really where the reward comes from. You know, it was a very tragic thing for my dad to pass away at that age. He was in a position where he was just getting ready to run for a higher political office in the state of New York, and unfortunately, really kind of live out the rest of his life, and he never got there. So my kids didn't have a grandfather. We didn't have my dad here to the later stages of life, and we feel it all the time. I also, a friend of mine passed away at a very young age, leaving a family of four from almost the same type of thing. So to me, I went back to school later in life for naturopathic medicine, did some postgraduate work in nutritional psychology, and I'm a senior fellow with the American Academy of Anti-Aging and Metabolic Medicine, as well as an expert in functional medicine where I teach other doctors and coaches and folks with this. So for me, it's personal, quite frankly. I think we need to find a way through the use of clinical nutrition, through the use of helping people be able to better manage their mindset, which is going to come into play with some of the things we're going to be talking about in a bit here, and certainly manage their environment better, which your environment has a lot to do with, are you moving? What are you exposing yourself to? What are you eating? What are you putting inside your head or in your ears that then become things that you hear and the thoughts that you have? So to me, it's near and dear from a familial standpoint. And there's just far too many people suffering from this silent disease that can end up blowing up and causing many other problems and move people further up the cardiometabolic spectrum. So we'll revisit that. We'll talk a little bit about why people should be concerned about this topic that for all people but we can certainly do like a little, workshop on, why it's important, some things that you should know that perhaps your doctor every day doesn't tell you when you go to visit them.
We were just talking before we went on here, Dr. Fregamini. I want you to be able to help introduce Eris to our program, and
Sure.
then Eris, I want to talk to you more about the product that's in our carousel there, the Respirate Ultra as well. But Dr. Fregamini, talk to us a little bit about how Eris kind of became a part of the group.
Yeah. So for the folks tuning in, Panoxol is one of the products that we produce with our company that's called Clinical and Herbal Innovations. And that's, I know you're going to have that up in the carousel as well. But that's just a small part of what we're trying to do in a larger thing throughout the world. So when you think about the construct of our company is we've got, supplement manufacturers like Clinical and Herbal that manufactures Panoxol. You've got my company, Thrive Nutritionals, that has 14 different nutritional products. We've got Rimini Bionutritional that has a slew of products that we manufacture in a very clean facility over in India for now. And then we've got a lot that we're doing and plugging in with telemedicine, telehealth, telecoaching, which Ms. Charles is here as an example of the type of person that we're trying to bring in. And then on top of that, what we're looking to do is build partners that maybe have a different service or product that we have in-house. Enter Cyrus with Respirate. We know a big problem that people have that can either be the main trigger or an exacerbator to cardiovascular disease and moving people up this cardiometabolic spectrum is the loss of what I call stress resiliency. Many people have lost stress resiliency, the ability to deal with stressors, to have their body switch from what people have heard of with this fight or flight mode. And the reason we're very attractive to Eris's company is one of the main focuses that folks like myself that teaches coaches, as well as Ms. Charles that works with folks, is we use breathing techniques to help people relax, de-stress. We give them a tool in these breathing techniques to be able to better manage stressful situations and a stressful life that not only works in the moment, but that has therapeutic long-term effects. Enter Respirate. And I'll let Eris talk about it a little bit more because it's actually it's the only approved FDA cleared medical device to do this, but also not just to help people recover their vagal tone or get better from a stress resiliency standpoint, is it also will help them manage their hypertension. So it's a really exciting thing that when you take and put together lifestyle coaching, telemedicine, a device that can teach people and be there when a coach or physician is not there, and give them the direction and the input that they need to do the guided breathing that will get them therapeutic results over time. So, this is just a shining example with what we're looking to do with our Plant-Based Sciences International company, where we've got 15 to 20 different companies now we're bringing under some sort of relationship or partnership, or even to be part of our company. And we won't get into that today for the sake of focusing on this topic, but this is just a great example. We're looking and attracting in other practitioners that want to work in the integrative care practice, and we're looking to bring other strategic partners like Eris, where we can with his product and he can fit with us in some way, shape, or form. So we just thought it would be a great opportunity. A little short notice for him. He's over. And by the way, just so folks know, he's in Israel. I'm in Utah. We've got about a 12-hour difference, I think, in time right now, or maybe a 9-hour difference, I think it is. And Lisa's in Florida, and you're in Missouri or Mississippi. I can't remember where we are. Sorry, I apologize. But yeah. So we're kind of all over the place. So we really do appreciate Eris. He either stayed up or got up very early. I think he might have stayed up. He was in Israel. They eat dinner and go out very late at night. I know a lot of folks that have bounced back and forth between Israel. So I'd love to hear Eris kind of talk a little bit about maybe his company, how he found it, why he found it. If you're okay with that, Cyrus, and
sure.
And how we came into chatting with him, if that makes good sense for you.
Yeah, definitely. And just to let our audience know on the Amazon Live side, we appreciate you guys and appreciate the questions as well. We'll be getting to some of those. We have the Respirate Ultra actually feature right now as Eris is talking. So Eris, you have the floor.
Sure. So, those movies that says it's all about my mother, right? So my mother had a headache It's began with her headache. My father, Dr. Benjamin Gavish, is a well-renowned scientist in small blood vessels. He took her to his lab in Jerusalem, and he saw that her small blood vessels are constricted. And then he thought, what can we do about it? And I don't know if you know, but each one of us has 60,000 miles of blood vessels, not just the big blood vessels, but the capillaries, the small hair-thin like blood vessels. And they're all innervated through the sympathetic nervous system. And where we're under stress, and this is Dr. Bernard was talking about, where we're under stress multiple times a day, it tightens up. And of course, it's like, like pumping. You need to pump higher pressure in order to get the blood flowing through these 60,000 miles of blood vessels. So my father was thinking, what can we do about it? And both he and my mom loved to dance, and they were thinking, maybe we can kind of dance these blood vessels. And as it happened, you can actually, the only thing you can really control with your body is your breathing. If you think about it, you can't affect your heart rate, for example, directly. You can not pee for about 30 minutes, but anything else, you can't really control. But you can control your breathing. And interestingly enough, if you do specific breathing exercises, you can kind of open up and actually oscillate these small blood vessels throughout your body. So he entered into researching it, and I'm an engineer, and I came to help him for 6 months. This is over 20 years ago, because the mission that we had were to get a clinically proven medical device that the FDA will clear or approve to say lowers blood pressure. And when we first came to the FDA, they said, "You guys are nuts. It's only medicine." We came back with 3 clinical studies, what's called randomized controlled studies. So you have one arm that just listened to music, and we'll talk about that, and one arm that used the respirator. And we showed there's a significant reduction, a clinical reduction. And eventually the FDA said, you know what, that makes sense. And so, to change medicine, to bring a new category of therapeutic to medicine, it's a matter of a decade, 2 decades. It's not a matter of years, but it's not about money. Medicine is very conservative, and rightly so. And so I'm happy to say that we went through that cycle from the innovation, again, because my mother had a headache. And then we said, what can we do about this invention of my father? Decided to go after hypertension. And today, we're still the only device that the FDA ever approved for the treatment of blood pressure. Since then, we have about 50 clinical studies, about 16 of them specifically in hypertension with our device, well-designed studies, close to 1 million patient years of using the product safely, and helping quite a lot of people. And what gets me up in the morning is, the mails that we get and the feedback that we get from people that they tried everything and they're on 3 medication and they're having a lot of side effects and so forth. And the doctors don't really know what to do with them. And then they're risky to have high blood pressure. And then they try our device 15 minutes a day, 3 or 4 times per week. It takes 2 weeks, and you see an all-day reduction. We'll talk about that more, but that's what's got me in. And that's what gets me up in the morning. How can we bring it for more people? How can we control people's blood pressure? The side effect, by the way, is you're more relaxed, you sleep better. But blood pressure is so important. I mean, you get strokes, you get kidney failure, and in large numbers. 80 million Americans have uncontrolled blood pressure, have hypertension, and many of them have uncontrolled blood pressure, despite about 100 available medications. So what are we going to do about it? So that's, the Gavish family contribution is we keep going with this respirate and with the breathing, and we'll talk more about it, but I think I spoke quite long, and back to you, Cyrus.
Well, look, thank you. We're glad we're going to come back around to you for sure, Eris. I want to bring Lisa Charles up. Lisa is someone who is, I'm going to go ahead and highlight her book, Yes, Commit, Do Live, there on the Amazon Live side. She's not only a wellness coach, but also someone who's been able to help people from the inside out. Lisa, welcome to the program as well. Glad to have you on with us. Let's see. It looks like we may have. Lisa, can you hear us? Looks like we lost Lisa's connection there. Let's see. Lisa, can you hear us? Okay, we're going to see if we can get Lisa back. So since we have you there, Dr. Pregamini, back in the spotlighted section there, I want to ask you this. I mean, for yourself, and I think Eris brought up a really good point about the importance of this information. This month is Oh, I think we have her back now. Okay, just one moment, Dr. Pregamini. Lisa, hello. Okay, can you hear us? Okay, Lisa. Okay, great. Well, look, I'm going to go ahead and highlight your book there in the carousel on the Amazon Live side. I want to bring up what Keith Matthews is saying. Hello to you, Keith. Thank you so much for watching us over there on the Amazon Live side. Keith says the FDA story, a true lesson in persistence, talking about what you shared, Eris, for sure. And I think we lost Lisa again.
Yeah, it looks like we did.
Yeah. So okay, there she is. I think, yeah. Let's see.
See if this works a little better.
There she is. Okay. Lisa, so glad to have you on with us. I was just mentioning your book, Yes, Commit, Do Live.
Yes.
What has it been like for you, Lisa, to be able to share with people the importance of not only taking control of their health, but their role also in their health?
Well, I think it's really phenomenal and not.
Okay, I think we lost her again. Looks like it may be the internet connection. So we're going to hopefully be able to bring her back in. Dr. Freeman, I want to ask you about the conversation that Eris was having. Do you think people understand and appreciate, because he brought up a really good point, and we've had several of these segments over the past several months, about the importance of the connection of blood pressure and their overall health. Do you think that's starting to become something people are more aware of, Dr. Pregamini? Or do you think it's still something about educating people about the importance of those numbers?
Well, part of what we're building through Plant-Based Science International, Clinical and Herbal, and all their conglomerate companies is an educational platform. So I think people, at least now at this stage that we're in life, they know it's not good to have hypertension. But I'll just give you a near-term example of what's been going on in the last 2 years. How many people were continuing their regular checkups with their primary care physicians during the last 2 years during COVID? And we know that numbers, it's way down, whatever it is. So the answer could just be simply less. So the downside is some people might not even still know that they have hypertension. You've got to measure it to know. I like to say, Cyrus. But so you need to get into telling people you can basically not just destroy your vascular system, you can destroy your nervous system, you can destroy your kidneys, you can control your liver, you can control brain function, are all affected adversely when someone is letting this silent killer sit around as we've come to know it. So I don't think we need to give a lesson in that, but it's very important for people to understand that a large amount of folks are dealing with this. We know it's the third leading cause of death in this country. We know that it shortens your life expectancy. We know it causes all the other damage to the major organ systems. We've got 1 out of 3 African Americans are affected by this, Cyrus. I mean, with what we see, 1 out of 4 general population people in the United States that are affected by this. We know that if we can just get people aware and then getting them taking some sort of action. So, 60% of the people that are hypertensive in America are overweight. That shouldn't be any news. I'm always giving lectures on where people fall on this cardiometabolic spectrum and how that evolves or devolves really over our lifetime. First, you're a little overweight, then you're on a medication, then you're even more overweight, then you're less active. You're on a medication for hypertension, you're on a medication for your blood pressure, you're on another medication. And the downside is these things all give issues to people. So we try to educate people. Let's get them to lose a little weight. Let's let them understand how this can affect all areas of their life. So with what Erez was talking about before, Dr. Mark Houston, who's one of my mentors and has written a bunch of books, and he's one of the chief clinical professors for the American Academy of Anti-Alcoholic Medicine, talks about once we've had our sympathetic nervous system and chronic HPA activation, which I'll explain what I mean in a second about that. But once you lose resiliency, and it crosses over to where you constantly have your sympathetic nervous system turned on in a heightened manner, there's only really a few responses we get from that. One is inflammation, which is either causal or exacerbatory for many diseases and conditions, especially for people in the cardiometabolic disease state. The other one is oxidative stress, which is definitely not good, because oxidative stress causes all sorts of other issues, but namely when we're talking about just the cardiometabolic disease spectrum, that's what can oxidize plaques that are forming. And when we have hypertension and constricted, and we've caused now vasodilation, which is the third one, you're much more prone to have ischemic events. So how all those things start to affect are really through the hypothalamus, through the pituitary, and through adrenal function. But people are going to know they have these things. So even if they don't know they have the silent killer per se that they haven't measured, their libido is going to be down, their sleep is going to be, people that are probably sensitive to cold, they're going to have an issue with their appetite. These are things that coaches like Lisa and that I hear in my practice all the time. From a pituitary function, we know HGH drops, we know thyroid function starts to drop, we know adrenal function starts to drop, and we know that from an overall adrenal function, we start to have issues regulating cortisol. So we end up in this endless loop, and most of these people that are in this endless loop also are going to be hypertensive. So it's very important. It affects all these other areas of your life. And believe it or not, something as simple, as learning how to breathe properly can have a huge impact. And Lisa works with her clientele. If we've got a good connection now,
Yes,
I can maybe
think
toss
so.
this. I can maybe toss
I think
this to
so.
her, because she and I have had conversations about how important we think it is, and she was so excited when we
Yes.
told her about Erez coming on and Respirate. But maybe she can talk. If we got a good connection now, maybe we can hand it back off to her, what you were trying to do before we lost her, and you can talk about that a little bit, Lisa, as well.
Yes, I'm gonna
Awesome.
jump
Lisa.
right. I'll jump right
Sure,
in.
go ahead. Go ahead, Lisa.
Let me go for it, because technology sometimes can get in the way.
Yeah.
I have loved and been so passionate about being health-filled, first coming from having been a professional yo-yo dieter for many years and really wrecking my health. Many years ago, I figured out that you have to have an opportunity to look at what's most important.
It happened again.
Okay, yeah. Lisa, we lost your audio there. We lost your audio. Looks like her signal went out there. We're gonna hopefully try to get her back in. Erez, I'm gonna bring you in here and talk about the personal connection, because I think for a lot of people, when it comes to that personal connection, whether it's someone that's a family member for them or their own journey, it definitely makes it something that they're more passionate about. What has that been like for you to have that connection with others, Erez, when it comes to your own personal story and being able to help them to be able to make those changes in their lives?
Right. So I think what's, as Dr. Bernard said, people already know the dangers of blood pressure, but it's what can you do about it? And the fact that you can't do something about it, aside from taking medication, and medication is super important. But if your blood pressure is not down enough, what can you do about it? In finding out that you can use a device 15 minutes a day, a few times a week, and actually see your numbers goes down was, life-changing for people. When you go to your doctor, you typically get lose weight, do exercise, change your diet, and these are important things, but it's not easy. Get off salt. It's not easy. And when you can give people an additional tool, an additional option, and they're able to use it, and they see result, you see something very interesting. They start measuring the blood pressure more often. You start them beginning to exercise, to eat better. I think all of us, when we get some positive action going, we start to change everything. And I think so. So that's and we see this with our clients coming back to us, and these things, it's not a silver bullet. It takes few weeks to see results. That's why you need to use it for a few weeks, about 3 weeks before you see all-day blood pressure reduction. So we actually communicate with people throughout that time to see. I mean, you feel better when you do breathing exercises immediate, but in order to make an impact on your body, it takes time, and people should be aware that it takes time. It's like exercise. It takes about a month until you get into exercise, and so our device, if you think about it, does, and I didn't actually explain how it works, but I will. It's like exercising your small blood vessels, and it takes about a few weeks, and it's okay. It's okay. There's no the side effect is you sleep better at night, so people are okay with that. And really, you've got so many doctors coming back and thanking us for doing the work. Breathing has been around since we live, and the fact that it's beneficial is known for millennia. The question is, can you do a specific breathing exercise that's going to impact blood pressure? And that's what we've put together. Whenever you would like, I'm happy to speak about it, but I see we have Lisa back again, so Cyrus, I'm back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to come back to you for sure. I do want to reset real quick for those who are tuning in. We are at 30 past the hour here on Amazon Live. We welcome you guys back. The Software Presents had some great experts joining today. You just heard there from Erez Gavish. We also have Dr. Bernard Fragamini back with us. And also, we have a lifestyle and wellness coach, Elisa Charles. You all see her there front and center. Lisa, I'm going to go ahead and just give you back the floor. Feel free to pick up wherever you'd like to.
Oh, no, I appreciate that. I think I've worked out the technical.
Okay.
We were talking about top-down, inside-out living. And what I love about what has been brought to the table here is that a lot of it has to do with personal responsibility and your willingness to take the journey. This is our health life journey. And I like to look at it in 4 real pillars of health, where you're looking at issues of love, self-love, love to others, the freedom, the power, and the resilience. And when you work on building that from inside out, you really can take. So I could work with someone like Riz, and I'd say to my clients, which I always do, we start with breathing first. That is the baseline. It is the way that we can enrich every single cell of our body. And I love what was said earlier, that this is the one thing that you truly have immense power at every second of the day. And so if you're feeling a certain way, you change your breath, you can change your feeling and emotion. If something is happening and your body is actually going into a state of active stress, you can change your breathing and have an immense and immediate impact. And so I always say to people, just envision if you would work on the breathing and you would work on those things that are going to have a lifelong impact on you, as well as you work on, let's say, your job, your career, the other things that are important. But if you're not here, you can't be there for your job, your family, your friends. And so health is preeminent in taking something such as breathing. It'll help you with how you fuel your body. It'll help with how you sleep. It'll help with how you move your body. It'll help with how you communicate with others. And so this is like just the most important power. And so what I like to do when I say about the 4 pillars and one of them being power, it's to let people know the power they have inside. Like you had it. I always call it the Dorothy effect. Like Dorothy didn't know she could get home from with her ruby red slippers. She could have done that all along. You have this power all along. And the shame, I think, is that it's really not given the weight that it needs to be given, not just on how we breathe, but how we fuel, how we nourish ourselves, and if we have an opportunity to eat and to ingest and to take in something that's going to be wonderful for your body and help you in the long run. That is something that, as partners in health, our doctors, physicians of all types, our health coaches, our personal trainers, all coming together with a united message. I mean, I close my eyes and I envision what would the world be like if we all knew to put this first, and before we looked at a medical or a pill, we said, okay, what are you doing in your life? What are you doing on a daily basis? And part of the prescription is this, Respirate, which is wonderful. Part of the prescription is here are the daily breathing exercises, which is wonderful. Part of the prescription, I have a program called Sleep Fit to help people really take sleep as seriously as when I was at Rutgers in the Brain Institute, as seriously as they talk about the effect on the brain long term. But yet in the health field, a lot of times people don't talk about it. We don't talk about breathing and we don't talk about sleep. And those are two very important components. So I love what this, I think, portends for the future of health. Just this show today, Cyrus, what it portends for the future of health is exciting. This means real change, lasting change.
I'm going to stay with you for a second here, Lisa, because one of the things I noticed when I was prepping for your segment, your book, again, that we have highlighted there, Yes, Commit, Do, Live, you talk about challenging the brain, body, and beliefs in life. Talk to our audience about that, because I think a lot of this is about the way people did grow up, their attitude toward food, about themselves and what they could do, who they could be. How important has that been for you in your work to be able to see that transformation happening for people?
Well, it's really interesting. I certainly say that I lived it, transforming my own body, losing over 77 pounds without dieting. That was really important to me. Wanted to see how the body really truly worked, and it ignited this passion and wellness for me. So I became a trainer and a health coach, and really started to look into what makes people, because I knew there were a lot of great ways of eating out there, and a great exercise programs, but what makes a person actually do it, finish it, complete it, feel like they're in charge of their lives in the journey that they take. They're not just doing a plan because someone told them to do it, but they feel the complete connectivity with the actions that they're taking. And what I realized is that there was a strong component that was missing. It's not just me giving you a program. It's not even me just helping you to get to, quote unquote, what is your goal? It is you having a complete buy-in to understanding how your body works, to feeling it from the inside out. I have something that I would do with muscle work, for instance, where I'd have them find each muscle, focus on it and feel it, and actually enhance the brain-body connection with every single muscle in your body, and taking it from that standpoint with everything that you place in your body. It's not just something you just put in your mouth. That actually has a whole role, and to understand that. And so in that process, I had this brief stint at Rutgers University and their Aging Brain Health Alliance, running fitness and wellness programs for them. And it really, this whole concept of how the brain really works, and how, if you tie that in to its connectivity with the body through movement and through fueling. And then the missing piece was the belief side. Because if people have beliefs that they formed since childhood, that they can't do something, or that something is too hard, or that they're not good enough to be able to be fit or to be able to have a healthy life. And sometimes people have these ideas that have been implanted in them from youth, and they act upon it for a lifetime. So a lot of my work realized that you really have to get into What is someone's belief system? What is their belief about health? What is their belief about living? What is their belief about relationships with others? We don't live in isolation. Coming out of the pandemic, a lot of people had to live in isolation. But now you have to come back to how we were truly meant to live as an integrated as an individual, but also integrated in society at large. And so all of that helps to form beliefs. And all of that is so instrumental to our health. If your belief system is off, but you're doing the exercises, something's going to go wrong. If you're eating really wonderfully, you're not moving, and you think that it won't be lasting. And I want to move people away from that moment where people say, like, I don't know, I was doing it, or I was the right weight and I suddenly quit and I don't know why. Or I was doing the breathing exercises, I felt good, but I stopped. And for me, I think until they really kind of understand and take the journey, and it's a cool, I think, a fabulous journey. I always tell them it's the best, most fascinating journey of your life. It has adventure, has mystery, has excitement. It's a journey of your life. It's your book. You're writing it every day. If you take the journey to figure out what things may be standing in your way, and I know people call it like a mindset, but I think it's something more than that, because it's not just being positive. It's not just really coming in it with, the kind of belief that I can complete. It's also really understanding who you truly are from the inside out, your truest core, your values, your passions, your loves, your talents, and putting that all together, putting that passion behind the health journey. So it's an integrated journey. And I think when people see it that way, we move away from, 4 weeks, we'll do that for 6, only for 3 days. No, it's for your life. But it's really cool because we can change it up. We can make it interesting. You're constantly challenging all these things, so it's not stagnant. But it's all of them.
And that's why I'm so glad to have the three of you on here to talk about this again on the Amazon Live side. We're recognizing, as people around the country, May as High Blood Pressure Awareness Month, But again, it really is, as you've heard all of them say, it is about a lifestyle choice. So I want to talk about the three items that are in the carousel on the Amazon Live side. Lisa, you're up first. With your book, Yes, Commit, Do Live, what do you hope your book does for our audience and helping them on their own lifestyle journey?
Well, I wanted to demystify the whole process. I wanted to make it simple. I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to make it in easy steps so that anyone that's sitting out there saying, I don't know where to start, I don't know where to begin, which is the way to eat, or I wanted to give them the basics that anyone can step and say, wow, this is how I commit, and get that kind of, I call it a yes mindset, the one that's going to be more on the positive than negative. Try to tell them how to really deal with negative thoughts and fears. And then the do side, how do I move my body? How do I make that brain-body connection? Simple steps, exercises all the way through. It's like a journal. So by the end of it, you are really equipped to take the next steps in your journey. And that can be anything that you want it to be. I have to say, there's the last part, so it's commit to getting that really yes mindset, the do, to doing all the things for your body, but the live, which is exciting for me, having just turned 60 this year. And there's so much about fear of aging. So it's a lot about how do you live an age-defying life? How do you take all these components and make it super fun, challenging, but yet one of those things that's challenging and brings such joy and happiness and laughter. And so I love to leave people with this part of it, that the journey continues. If you're still here and breathing, the journey continues, so that you need to really take it that way to make it exciting for yourself. So that's the purpose of the book. And I always say that people that want to communicate with me, it's the first step. And I love for people to come on my website and join my community, because I like to see people just embrace this all the way.
And we're going to be giving that out a little bit later, Lisa. Thank you for that. Dr. Pergamini, I want to bring you in when it comes to Panoxol. We're going to highlight it, Panoxol Plus, which is on sale right now here on the Amazon Live side. What do you hope, Dr. Pergamini, for those who are ready to make those changes, right? And what do you hope Panoxol Plus does in helping them not only in making those changes, but also in really taking control and taking charge of their lives?
It's a good question. In general, when we're trying to help people make changes, we follow a pretty strict methodology of teaching people how to change, because the biggest reason people are stuck in habits that they do in life is that they don't know how to make changes. And one of the tenets of making overall health style and lifestyle changes is doing something. One thing first, then maybe two things. So that one thing could be picking up Ms. Charles' book. That one thing could be purchasing Respirate and learning how to breathe better, or working with a coach. And in combination, it creates even more momentum. And then certainly, and we don't care what order this comes in, Cyrus, which is why I'm kind of answering you a little bit circuitously. But the other thing could be investing in yourself in some way, shape, or form. And that could mean any of those other things. Along with it could mean purchasing Panoxol or using Panoxol as part of a natural medicine regimen or protocol. And when we look at Panoxol, the way it was designed was to, in essence, be a protocol in a bottle. So instead of somebody having to go and figure out and speak with somebody in the clinical nutrition field about all these different supplements that could help lower inflammation, that could work on increasing nitric oxide, which is partially the effective mechanism with respirate and breathing exercises, how it relaxes the venous structures that have been dilated. But we've got ingredients in there that will help with other areas of people on the cardiometabolic spectrum as well. So if somebody's on medication, and I want to reiterate one thing too that kind of almost got spoken about earlier. We're not saying for anyone to stop their medications. That's not what we're saying. So we're not saying that with Respirate. We're not saying it with working with Lisa Charles as a coach, and we're not saying it by just picking up a bottle of Panoxol and starting to take that you're already at that point. Now, we will work with people to do that. That's part of what we do with our telehealth and telemedicine. But back to some of the component pieces. So what we put together with the Panoxol Plus is we not only have things that work in inflammation and boosting nitric oxide, we've also got red yeast rice in there, which, so for people that have been told by their physician that they have an issue with cholesterol, it helps with that. We've got other component ingredients that help with swelling and edema that a lot of these people that are type 2 diabetics have from a circulatory standpoint. And we certainly have other component ingredients in there that help with overall circulation. This can help brain function, not just cardiac function when we get there. So I just tell people, start with one thing. If that one thing's Panoxol, great. If that one thing's Respirate, great. If that one thing, picking up Lisa Charles' book, great. What we try with the way I train coaches and the way I work with patients is we try to pile on, create a momentum effect with that. So one thing, one start, great. Multiple things over time that get added on. The next thing you know, you're going to wake up and you're going to think, like, a year later, I look different, feel different, and I'm healthier because I started with one thing. People get too overwhelmed, and it's the biggest thing when I work with functional medicine practitioners. A lot, and even coaches are guilty of this at times, is they throw the 130 things from a lifestyle standpoint that you should do better, Cyrus, to get healthier. And anybody's going to look at that, even the most intelligent people, and become overwhelmed. And it's just not the right way. So when we talk about an educational platform that we're building out with Plant-Based Science International, Clinical Neural, and obviously people using Panoxol products as well as other ones, it's however we can get you off your butt and get you started and get your way you look at things from a mental aspect changed, because all these things are connected. And the more that we can get you doing in the right direction, the more all of a sudden you're going to wake up and say, I am a different person because I took one step, then another step, and then another step. So it's very important. And sometimes it could be a supplement, sometimes it could be a book, sometimes it could be a device. In all these instances on them. And at the end, I'm going to tell you that if people purchase Respirate on either listening to this or they do it in a replay, we're going to have a pretty special offer for them with some sampling of Panoxol for them.
Awesome. Well, Cyrus, that brings me to you then and Respirate Ultra. Talk to us and our audience about what you hope it does in helping them on their journey. How do you see it helping them on their journey and contributing to their living a healthier lifestyle?
Absolutely. So, respirate, we didn't talk how it works, but, breathing is not that simple. Things come up and you think about them. What respirate does, it has a sensor that you put over your abdomen and on your midsection. It learns your breathing, the inhale and exhale pattern, and then it composes a melody in real time that fits these breathing. So in and out, in and out. And then it actually prolongs the exhalation. And all you have to do is follow the tones. You put in the earbuds and you follow the tones. And within minutes, you're basically breathing like the Dalai Lama, right? You're breathing 6 breaths per minute in a very prolonged exhalation. And the interesting thing about that, we typically breathe 12 to 18 breaths per minute normally. And it brings you down to a therapeutic zone of 5 to 6 breaths per minute with a very prolonged exhalation. During that prolonged exhalation is the time that the sympathetic activity will go down, inhibition of sympathetic activity during the exhalation. And so it takes you there, and it's your own breathing that composes the music. But if you don't follow the tones, it adapts you, it will come back. It's not pre-recorded music, it's composed in real time, especially for you, all the time. So it's like device-guided breathing, and that's why it was so effective. Now, the interesting thing, the paradox is, if you think about breathing slow, you're elevating sympathetic activity. So if you're thinking you're sitting down and you're practicing, and everybody who tried to practice meditation, it's not simple. Thoughts come up, it's not simple to do. You need a lot of training to do it. That's what Respirate solves. Basically takes breathing practice to a different level, and it's very simple. So all you really have to do is you sit on your couch, you put your sensor on, you put your earbuds, and you do these 15 minutes breathing exercise. It's very enjoyable, and you'll see your blood pressure coming down, and the effects, of course, will be relaxing. Relaxing is an outcome of that, but the blood pressure reduction is actually because of this type of breathing. When it's done without conscious effort, and that's what Respirate allows you to do. The guided melody allows you to do it without conscious effort. It will dilate your small blood vessels, and within few weeks, it actually changes the structure. So it stays. It stays on. You keep on practicing. Actually, inside the box, when you get the device, inside the box you'll find a leaflet, and you sign up. We send you, weekly information about how to use, and tips and tricks and things like that for 8 weeks. So you pass these few weeks, and as Lisa so rightly said, it becomes a habit. You need to use it for life. It's like exercise. Luckily, you don't have to run around the block. You sit on your couch and you listen and you do these breathing exercises, and things open up. And as Dr. Bernard said, it's you start with one thing, you're successful, and then you add the other things. And that's, all of us like to be successful. So starting from one thing, whatever it is such an important message.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, and we thank all of our audience for joining us around the variety of platforms. Our audience mainly is Amazon Live, but we do thank those who are tuning in. Willis Victory, we see you over there on the Facebook side. He says, very good segment. We appreciate that, Willis. Thank you for getting the band together for today's show. Again, our guests have been Lisa Charles, Eris Gavish, as well as Dr. Bernard Fragamini, who's been back with us as we are recognizing not only May as High Blood Pressure Awareness Month, but also helping you guys. And I love the way that you all tied that in together, just taking that first step. And it really is about that when it comes to taking control of your health and wellness. So, Lisa, we're going to go back around, let our audience know. I do want our audience to realize that all of the items we've been talking about today, with when we were just talking with Eris there, you notice we had a Respirate Ultra that it was highlighted in the carousel. We have Lisa's book there, Yes, Commit, Do, Live. And also we have Panoxol Plus there. Definitely make sure you guys click on those, whether you're tuning in live or the replay, to be able to find out more information about them, and also to be able to get them for yourself. Lisa, why don't you let our audience know how can they stay connected with you?
Yeah, so I want you to visit my website, www.yescoachlisa.com, and join my email list. I have free gifts for you. I'm looking forward to staying with each of my fellow guests here. Respirate is going to be a part of something that I'll be bringing to my clients as well. I am a Panoxol user myself, but I am looking forward to people joining the email list. I am going to have an amazing course called Busting Stress and Building Resilience, and it really kind of ties into everything that we've talked about tonight. And anyone that joins watching this and mentions this is going to get a 20% off. So looking forward to connecting.
All right. I want to mention Amazon customer says, what a wonderful message, and the synergy is fire. I love, love, love. Great job to all involved. Appreciate that, Amazon customer. Thank you so much for watching us over there. Cyrus, thank you so much for staying up late, getting up early with us here for this very powerful segment. Let our audience know, if you don't mind, how they can stay connected with you and how they can find out more information about Respirate Ultra as well.
Sure. So on the Amazon website, you can go in. There's actually how to use it, more information, videos about the product. You can also go to www.respirate.com, where you can sign up to 10 tips, free 10 tips to lower blood pressure. There's more in-depth videos and the clinical page, clinical proof. Download the brochure to take to your doctor if you wish. It's the only product that the American Heart Association actually recommends by brand name to treat high blood pressure, the non-drug treatment. So all of that is there. Please do get connected. Lisa, I would love to get in touch. It sounds like an amazing book. And yeah, thank you so much for putting together this panel.
Yeah, definitely. I have to give all the credit to Willis Victory for this one. And Dr. Pregany, glad that we haven't run you off. We appreciate you being back with us. You mentioned you had something special you wanted to offer. I do want to let our audience to know that Panoxol, you guys can be able to go to the website there. You'll notice the information is on the product page there. Panoxol Plus is on sale right now on Amazon as well. I mentioned that earlier. So make sure you guys definitely take advantage of that. But Dr. Pregany, I want to turn the floor over to you. Anything you'd like to mention and our audience can stay connected with you?
Yeah, I mean, one, thanks for hosting again, Cyrus. You guys do a wonderful job. Lisa, we're so happy to have you on. I want people that are listening to see this a little bit of a microcosm shot into Plant-Based Science International and everything that we're trying to accomplish throughout the world with what we're doing. I think you can see the quality of the people that we're bringing in, the quality of the companies that we're trying to bring in and partner with. And we're for this event, for anybody that watches this live and orders a Respirate, or through watching it, which we'll be able to see through tracking, we were going to give a 90-day supply of Panoxol. We talked about one thing, but we want to create synergy. And I can just imagine, I'm so excited to actually have people that are doing both side by side and do an observational study for us and our team. And it's something that we plan on doing. We're going to want to have at some point Erez back because we want to get a little bit more in depth to some of the science behind this, and also be able to have a little bit more time for his extensive client list to be able to promote it to those folks so we can have them as eyeballs watching Cyrus. So we didn't get a chance to do that this week because we kind of pulled this on Erez a little bit at the last minute. But with his newsletter that goes out to his large user base, we can do that next time, and we can kind of come up with some sort of a package or bundle that we offer at that time. But in the interim, if anybody orders the Respirate device generated from this, we're happy to give a 90-day supply, and that should help people out. So if you're going to purchase 90 days anyway from watching this, then you're going to get 6 months supply, or you get two for the price of one in essence. So for the folks listening, I don't think there's any special code they have to put in there, Cyrus. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. I think that'll track it, and we'll be able to see with the orders that come in, and we'll get the information from Erez's company as well to be able to send that stuff to the folks. So thanks again. Enjoyed it. Great time as always. I'm sorry we had the technical issues.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm so glad that three of you can be on with us. Thanks all of you for the great work that you're doing. Thank you for being a part of our program on Amazon Live. Really appreciate it. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. If you guys did come in late, don't worry. The replay will be available for you guys to be able to check out. all you have to do is go there to Amazon.com. Also, you notice it on the product page there as well. Thank you so much. I think it's O Jeter says, incredible show. Thank you so much for that on the Amazon Live side. I appreciate you guys. And if you guys are joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, you will find the link that'll take you right over to Amazon to be able to watch the replay there as well. I want to say today's show is being powered here on Amazon Live by BiteCool. You guys know that it is the laptop that Amazon has. It is great for streaming. So if you guys are doing a lot of streaming yourself, we're talking about Zoom, shows like this even, or if you're into gaming. I'm not a gamer myself, but it's also great for gaming. BiteCool is running a sale right now on Amazon.com. You guys can get this laptop that we're using right here, which is the Windows 10 Pro, for only $249. It's on sale right now. You guys can take advantage of that. It does come with a free upgrade to Windows 11, which is really great. But this is a really slim fit. It's great for travel if you're on the road, on the go. It does not take up a lot of space, but it does have a lot of power. And again, it's great for streaming programs like this or for gaming. Anyone who does a lot online, this is a great laptop for you guys to definitely be able to take advantage of. We appreciate you guys being with us. If you're new to us here on the Amazon Live side, make sure you guys smash that follow button either down here or up here. You'll notice a follow button that'll keep you connected with all of our program here on Amazon Live. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.